Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is the fastest growing talk radio station in Southern California. Home to 50,000 watts and an audience reach of 12 million listeners. KBLA Talk 1580 is a pioneer for Black audio content, including our groundbreaking $2 million climate justice campaign and the most loyal, influential audience. According to an independent research study by the polling firm Aviterus, for the second consecutive year, KBLA Talk 1580 is the most trustworthy, reliable, and credible news source for Black audiences and beyond in Southern California. Let KBLA Talk 1580 power your advertising dollars. Our omni-channel custom marketing solutions are specifically tailored to connect with your ideal target audience. We leverage audio, podcasts, streaming, digital, social media, and local activations to get your message out to the Black community. Get in touch with our advertising team today at advertising@KBLA1580.com. That's advertising at KBLA1580.com. KBLA 1580. We've got you Black.
You ready?
It's the queen of royal badness.
It's time for the Raw Report with Robin Ayers.
Highlighting people and things you should know about.
Robin's got you covered. Follow Robin at Robin Ayers. You're listening to the Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580.
Robin's got a lot to talk about.
You know the definition of a baller. That's me. C-H-I-N-G to the Y. Let me explain it to you though. I'm a baller. Say what? High roller, baby. Baby, baby. Shot caller. That's right. Ain't nobody gets crazy.
You are inside the Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580, where we bring you the latest in entertainment news, trending topics, and interviews. I am your host, Robin Ayers, and I'm with you guys Monday through Friday on your ride home, the drive home. You might already be at home. You know, traffic was not bad, so shout out to you, Los Angeles, wherever you are. You guys seems to be. You know what, though? Actually, this might have something to do with it. At least in my kids' school, it was Senior Ditch Day. I don't know if that's everywhere. So if that's the case, maybe a lot of people aren't on the road. They're already at home. So, you know, shout out to you guys. I hope you are having yourselves a lovely Tuesday. I know that I am. It's been productive for me. I'm looking forward to today's conversation. I don't have many updates for you, but let me just say this regarding the updates, okay? Just regarding our community in entertainment, just itself. I'm noticing that in the entertainment business, first of all the rap beef has taken over the internet. Everybody wants to get involved. Ja Rule, he wants to come out talking about his past beef with 50 Cent. It's like, can we focus on something more positive? Can we embrace more positivity within our culture when it comes to entertainment and not just take to all the negativity? That's sort of what bothers me. And I've been talking a little bit about that. Andy, I want to hear what you got to say, Andy, because I'm assuming that you feel me on this.
I do feel you, but I think that when it comes to hip-hop, the hip-hop aspect of entertainment, because I know there's a lot of branches when it comes to entertainment.
Sure.
When it comes to hip-hop, in a lot of ways, I feel like the spotlight on hip-hop has been shining very bright in a long time.
So the first time in a long time.
I don't know about the first time in a long time, but just in a long time.
Sure.
I just feel like people are tapping into the music because of the controversies that's going on. Before that, I just feel like hip-hop was kind of, I don't want to say dead, but just mediocre.
Are you able to keep up with everything?
Kind of, sort of, to a degree.
Okay. I'm not. I'm not. I almost feel like, even remember back in the day when it was like a lot of hip-hop, you had focuses. You know what I'm saying? You had two people who were going in and you're like, okay, I'm focused on you. You were either team this or team that or whatever. You get what I'm, now it's just like everybody's coming out the woodworks. Like they all discussed this in a meeting and they said, you know, April is the month.
I blame a little bit of streaming because everything is just accessible nowadays.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody has a podcast nowadays. So I think it's just a lot of oversaturation. So yeah, it's kind of hard to keep up with everything that's going on.
That's true. Very true. Well, that's my little 2 cents on the matter. Again, not completely knocking it. I just want it to be safe. I want y'all to stay safe. And I'm really over the hip hop beef. I'm over it. Everybody just, have a come to Jesus moment, sit down at the table and work it out. That's what I got to say about that. But on the news, while we're giving you some updates, we talked about Caitlin Clark recently and the whole, the conversation that's surrounding the WNBA and their salaries. Well, Caitlin Clark is reportedly set to sign with Nike. It's a $28 million deal over 8 years. So I know a lot of people were talking about, she messed up her bag by not going to the Big Three League and instead signing in the WNBA. However, nobody ever talked about these brand deals. Nobody talked about that. She's come out winning. But there is another conversation around that as well when it comes to Black women not having signed their own Nike deal. And here we have Caitlin Clark, who we're all fans of, by the way. So I'm not knocking her, but there is a conversation around this. Maybe we could talk about that at another point. But Andy, let's just talk about the Rob Report.
Now it's time for a breakdown.
Okay, so we are talking about Chingy, the rapper Chingy, whom a lot of you may not know because, it wasn't a long time ago, probably the early 2000s. He really was doing big things in the early 2000s, and his career was derailed from a rumor. What's up, Andy?
It was a long time ago.
It was.
Literally like 20 years ago.
Okay.
And I'm going to let you go ahead and present the Raw Report because I do have just a couple points that I want to make.
Okay, when we get into the topic? Okay, well, I'm down with that. So we will talk about Chingy, what happened back then, but why the conversation of Chingy is being brought up again. I'm happy for the guy. I actually really, really liked him in his career and where it was going when he was out. We'll talk about that. We're also going to talk about couple goals. I know Andy and we were talking about this recently, couple goals. Well, we have a couple who they're great. They're doing wonderful things. Entrepreneurs, they're actors, business people, and of course, social media influencers, DeVal and Kadeen Ellis, and they talk about the fact they actually put out a book together as well, helping other couples. And if you look at their family online, it presents very, very well. And, people are like, oh, they are couple goals, and people say that about a lot of couples. But we'll talk about why they don't want to be seen as couple goals. And it's similar to what we were talking about the other day. We'll dig all into those topics with our wonderful contributor on the other side. You are listening to the Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580. Stay there.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Eric Bellinger hanging out right here with my family at the Raw Report. Keep it locked.
You're inside the Raw Report with Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
City of Los Angeles tenants, verify your Emergency Renters Assistance Program status today if you applied for the program. Tenants approved for rental assistance are protected from eviction for non-payment of rent through May 31st, 2024. And it's illegal under law for landlords to refuse rental assistance to you based on your source of income. Refusing assistance can be used as an affirmative defense in an eviction case. So check your application status now at housing.lacity.org. That's housing.lacity.org. Be informed, be protected, be at home.
It's been said that when someone you love has Parkinson's, you have Parkinson's.
The Parkinson's Foundation knows that the disease doesn't just affect the diagnosed. It affects everyone who supports and helps care for them.
If you have questions, the Parkinson's Foundation has answers.
We can help you understand the disease
and give you tips for living a better life.
Find your answers at Parkinson.org or call 1-800-473-4636. The Parkinson's Foundation. Better lives together.
What's that sound? That's the sound of Downy Unstoppable scent beads going into your washing machine and giving your clothes freshness that lasts all day long. There it is again. It's like music to your ears, or more like music to your nose. That freshness is irresistible. Let's get a Downy Unstoppables bottle shake. And now a sniff solo. Nice. Get 6 times longer lasting freshness plus odor protection with Downy Unstoppables in wash scent beads.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk
KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment through the arts. Tia Chucha Central Cultural is on a mission to transform community in the Northeast San Fernando Valley and beyond through ancestral knowledge, the arts, literacy, and creative engagement. The Northeast San Fernando Valley has a population of about 500,000, the size of the city of Oakland, yet it has no bookstores, art galleries, or full-fledged cultural spaces until Tia Chucha's opened its doors in 2001. Founded by renowned poet and activist Luis Rodriguez, Tia Chucha's Cultural Center provides a year-round free or low-cost arts and literacy bilingual intergenerational programming in mural painting, music, dance, writing, visual arts, healing art sessions, and healing talking circles. Activities also include Mexica, Aztec dance, indigenous cosmology, philosophy, and 2 weekly open mic nights, one in Spanish, the other in English. In addition, they host author readings, film screenings, and art exhibits. To express yourself, heal yourself, attend an event, or volunteer, please visit www.tiachucha.org. That's TIACHUCHA.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Giving you your daily dose of entertainment and celebrity news. You're inside the Raw Report. With Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
And of course, I am not here to talk by myself. I am joined with Chris Gunther of the Chris Gunther Show. Hello to you, Chris. How are you today?
What's going on, Robin? How you doing?
I am wonderful. Thank you for that energy. I appreciate that. I'm doing well. My assumption is that you are also doing well from everything that I see online.
Well, let's just say that when Robin Ayers calls me, I'm picking up. Before we get started, I'm feeling that new hair you got. I like it.
Oh, well,
okay now.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I can't pull none of that off, but it looks dope.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. Trying something new for the spring. You know, I just saw a clip of Kanye West, and I didn't watch the full interview, by the way, Justin LeBoy, and it struck me. I'll say it struck me, and it makes me want to dig into this conversation a little bit. Just off top, you didn't see the interview, you didn't even see the clip maybe that I'm talking about, but Kanye West is talking to Justin. By the way, Justin is he does what we do. He's a host, and he has a podcast and things like that. And they're sitting there. They talk over many different things in this interview. But at one point, Kanye says that he's God and that he runs the world. And he says, "I am God. I run the world. You can't tell me nothing. You can't tell my daughter to tell me nothing about Jesus or anybody like that." Is Kanye? Do you understand that theory of him saying, "I am God"? Because a lot of people believe that they are, because they are born of God, we are the children of God, that they are, God, but God beings, God-like beings. Or is he off his rocker? Give me your thoughts on that.
I'm going to keep this very short and very simple. There is only one God whose name is Jesus Christ. He is not Ye. I don't understand why Kanye continues to talk this foolishness. However, I'm not surprised because this is what he does. The more time that we spend trying to dissect what does he mean by that, the less precious time that we have. I understand everyone has their own different beliefs, and go ahead, God bless you. However, none of us are God. None of us are that patient. None of us are that kind and long-suffering. We're human. Therefore, it is very difficult for me to sit here and listen to Kanye say that because he knows the truth. I've spoken to several people who have been around Kanye West, and all of them have told me he knows the word. However, he also knows he's off his rocker. Therefore, I'm not surprised, but I would strongly recommend that he be very careful about that because the last thing you want to be is in the hands of an angry God. That's all I'm going to say about it.
Well, let me ask you this, though, because I know we've had this conversation many, many times just on this show regarding Kanye and why so many people still choose to extend their platforms to him. They extend invitations to come on and talk about him because they know obviously that there are going to be high ratings, knowing that he might say some things that are, off. And so as much as we say, why do we, have these conversations with him? Why do we give him the platforms? Would you sit down with him, and what would your conversation kind of be? Just very quickly, so we can move on with this, our real topic. Would you try to get more understanding, or would you just sort of let him go on with what he wants to state?
I would really want to ask him, where's your mental state at? Because where's all of this coming from? Clearly, there's something that triggered it, and it just makes me shake my head because one of his first singles was Jesus Walks. But now here he is saying, I'm God. Mm-hmm. And all I'm going to say is this, one man cannot serve two masters. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways.
Mm-hmm. I know that's right. Andy?
And that's what he is, a double-minded man. That's been his brand his whole time. I think this is an individual, once again, who wants to live life pure, but is definitely tainted by the world and is consumed by the world. So he's going to make statements like he's God, this, that, and the third. But what's crazy is deep down inside, I do think that he has a true appreciation for God. But once again, operating in this world, it can make you a little bit off the rocker.
Sure. Again, we're going to move on from this, but I'm so curious. There are a lot of universities and professors within certain colleges who choose to do research and actually and look into the lives of certain people like Beyonce and Taylor Swift. I really think it's a good idea to try to look at the life of Kanye and see, has he always been this way? As somebody who knew Kanye before he was Kanye West, I knew him before when he was a producer. And there's a lot of those same qualities that he had then that he does have now. But obviously, I think there's many things, obviously, that have happened over the course of his career. But I'd be interested to see if somebody could look at that, a professor, a doctor or psychologist, somebody who looked at that and said, maybe this, maybe that, these types of things come into play. Anyway, I'll leave that alone for right now. We might pick that up another time. But Chris, I want to jump into this conversation about Chingy, the rapper Chingy, who was big in the 2000s. Actually, right at that time, I remember. There's another story about this. I won't go too far deep into it, but the year was 2000, and I was in a club, and I heard that song for the very first time called Right There. And I was like, what is this? What is this? This guy, he was amazing. His career took off really exponentially, and at some point in his career, when he was working with all kind of people, he was at the height of his career. He wound up meeting a transgender woman, Sidney Starr, and she was a backup dancer. She said that they met at a show of his in Chicago, and she happened to be backstage and saw him, and she wanted to take a photo with him. Of course, him being an artist and not denying fans a photo, he takes a photo with her. She held on to that photo for a little while, and then she admits that people were in her ear because she wanted to be a star, by the way. Sidney Starr wanted to be a star. You could tell by how she named herself. She was like, I want to be the one that people want to take pictures with. So her friends and the people around her, they suggested that she put that video or put the picture out and claimed that she was in a relationship with Chingy. She obliged and said she put it out there. She put it out there, and it took off like wildfire. According to Chingy, he says that completely derailed his career. No one wanted to be associated with him, and this is at a time when homophobia was high. Obviously, we still have a long way to go, but transphobia, it was actually not even really talked about, not even really understood like it is today. And so people just associated him with being with the transgender woman, and that was untrue. She completely made that lie up, and according to Chingy, he is like, that messed up my career. Before we move forward, I just wanted to give the background on that, Chris. But before, because there's a clip of Chingy that I actually do want to play. Do you remember that time? What did you feel? Because I'm sure you, even if you don't remember it hands on, like you were in on it, I'm sure that you heard some of the backlash. You heard some of the behind the scenes of what happened to Chingy. How did you feel about that?
I felt it was very wrong because here you have a guy who is a phenomenal rapper, one of the biggest rappers in the world at that time, at the height of his career, And I've heard from a lot of people that Chingy is a very down-to-earth person. He tries to show love to as many people as he possibly can. And that's just what he was trying to do. Little did he know, number one, he didn't know Sidney was transgender. He had no idea that this person would even think about even doing that. But I believe at that particular moment in time, even if Chingy knew it was a transgender, he probably still would have took the picture and really not would have thought too much of it. But here we are now in 2024 talking about something that happened years ago. And it's very unfortunate because his career never recovered from it. He said more than once, I lost record deals because of that. Now, if this would have happened in 2024, nobody would have cared. But this happened in 2014 when transphobia was still at an all-time high. And in the black community, let's just be real. There's a certain name that I'm sure everybody called Chingy that I will not say on KBLA 1580, but we both know what that name is. And unfortunately, this is the situation that he found himself in. It wasn't right, but that's literally what happened. It's just very unfortunate because even though Sidney has gone on and said more than once that it was all a lie, nobody holds Sidney accountable the way that we've held Chingy accountable.
That's true. You know, the fact that Sidney Starr is actually still out here and still sort of working up a name for herself. Now, she's never reached the heights of a career like she's wanted, but maybe in her eyes, you know, the fact that people do know her name, however you associate her, because she's been on a lot of reality shows and, you know, those types of things. And maybe that is good enough for her. However, for the public, we don't necessarily look at Sidney Starr as being, like I said, you know, at the height of her career. But this might be okay for her. So I do believe that that's unfair. I do believe that this happened at a time, we're talking 2010 when she actually came out with this lie. In 2012 when she retracted it, she actually put out her own apology video, and she apologized to him for lying, you know, but at that point, you know, he was already, you know, turned down from different record labels. People already left him alone. He said that people sort of ostracized him. People who he had good relationships with, they ostracized him because of that rumor. And I absolutely could not imagine something like that happening to me. Right now, I'm asking you guys over in our YouTube chat, should people be persecuted for lying and damaging someone else's career? And right now, 100% of you say yes. I'd agree with you. Nothing has ever happened to Sidney Starr except the rise in her career. Now, Chingy has talked about this over the years. He said, you know, he's talked about the fact that he felt like it was unfair. He recently sat down for a conversation with TMZ, and they are bringing up the lie and pretty much how it affected him. He says that it did hurt his career, but he's also talking about dropping new music. Let's take a listen to Chingy.
Individual do they think and a lot of stuff, man. But that situation, that hurt my career. Like, I'm just gonna be honest about it. It really did. With that being said, what inspired New Beginnings is I'm a guy who looks to nature for a lot of answers. And when I say that, just like the cycle of winter going into summer, you know, and things die in the winter, but they be reborn in the spring, and you see it being vibrant, it's living again, but it's a constant process. So with human life, I go through things, you go through things, but guess what? It's gonna come a time where we're gonna be back vibrant and we're gonna be back going. And that's one of them times now. You know what I'm saying? For me. And so nature gives me inspiration. And so Friday on the 19th, I'm dropping New Beginnings, and it's a beautiful thing.
Good for you, Chingy, dropping some more music, especially now the hip hop is back on the scene. Let me yeah, it definitely is. So maybe Chingy coming back in will be a breath of fresh air. I hear what he's saying. I feel really bad for Chingy because, like you, Chris, I feel like he's a good guy. I don't know him. I have never met Chingy, but just from what it looks like, maybe what it seems like, I've never heard from anyone in particular who talked about him. But he seems like a good guy, and I think what happened to him was very, very unfortunate. Sidney Starr has responded with she says it again. She says, I was very apologetic and I took accountability. I was looking for attention at that time of my life to get known because trans women were not looked at for anything but negativity. I said I was wrong and I lost a lot too. And if I could take it all back, I would. I've asked for forgiveness and I'm a good person at the end of the day. There's nothing more I can do. With that being said, let's talk about redemption. I'm always going to bring redemption into the conversation because some people do things back in the day when they were different in the mind and they've changed. Where do you stand in terms of redemption? Does she have that redemptive sort of quality about her?
No. And as harsh as that is,
okay.
I just got to be honest, no. Because I understand there's a saying that goes, people can change, fair enough. But you were that desperate to go on any kind of platform and make up this lie just because you were looking for 15 minutes of fame. But what makes me so sure that you won't make up another lie to continue on this fame that you have? And there's so much more that I really wish I could say, but out of respect for you and this platform, I'm gonna pull it back.
You could.
I'm gonna pull it back.
You always feel free to speak. I told you this before, Chris. Always feel free
Robin,
to speak your
I'm
mind
telling you now,
on the
if
show.
I really speak my mind, you might not have me back on, and I respect the heck out of you too much, and I don't want to do that. We can have that convo off air. However, to answer your question directly, I do not believe that. And it's just jacked up because, while I'm pretty sure, yes, she's apologized more than once, and yes, she's taken accountability for it. The reality is sometimes sorry is not enough. The damage is already done.
Sure.
We can't go back in time and change it. The reality is you scarred that man's career because of a lie. What makes me think he won't do that stuff again?
Okay, well, that's fair. Reggie White says Chingy can be wholly inspired by nature while suing the pants off of Starr. I agree with you on that. I mean, where does a lawsuit? I don't know. You can. He's got the proof, and she's admitted it. But, we live in a litigious society. Go ahead and sue the woman. Whether you will win or lose, I don't know. Not for me to decide.
Good luck with that one.
Yeah, good luck with that one. But, I mean, why not? But you know what? I like the way he says, you know what, my career is, I'm looking forward, and I am inspired by nature, because he's right. All things will come back around, and the sun will shine again. By the way, I was listening to Jay-Z's 444 and listening to him, talk about all the different things in that song about his current relationship, and with all the different women from the past. And he was talking about how he's changed and how he's evolved, and he apologized for being emotionless back in the day. And, it just made me think about redemption. Everybody sort of deserves this, in my opinion. We'll talk about that more on the other side. We're also going to get to couple goals. But right now, we've got news, traffic, and sports. You're listening to The Rob Report on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, what's up? It's your girl, BB, and you're listening to me on The Rob Report on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of The Rob Report with Robin Ayers when we come forward.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. New York City Mayor Eric Adams is meeting with college leaders amidst ongoing pro-Palestinian protests aiming to prevent escalation. Adams, who is Black, emphasizes that schools like Columbia and NYU are for education, not managing volatile situations. He warns of outside agitators inciting violence, urging schools to tighten security and identify non-students on campus. President Biden is set to speak at the commencement ceremony for one of the country's top historically Black colleges. Biden will speak at Morehouse College for the ceremony scheduled on Sunday, May 19th. Posts on social media have been calling for students at the college to stage a walkout in protest of Biden's support for Israel. Biden has reiterated support for the country in the wake of the Israel-Hamas war. Both Biden and former President Trump have been campaigning around Georgia to influence Black voters in the state. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
Enjoy the start of your night. Over in West LA's 405 North, we got some delays, starting with a stall in the left lane before the 10, with a 15-minute traffic jam running stop from Venice. Then, before Santa Monica Boulevard, watch for an accident on the right shoulder. Back in Hollywood, a 25-minute traffic jam continues on the 101 South between Hollywood Boulevard and the 10 7th Street interchange. 20 minutes of heavy traffic flow continues back on the 91 East through Anaheim Hills between Glassell Street, Kramer Boulevard interchange, and Gibson Canyon Road. Meanwhile, an accident in Orange has been cleared from the 55 North before Norr Ranch Road, Lincoln Avenue interchange.
Need to hire? You need Indeed. Their end-to-end solution helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all year round. Schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from your Indeed dashboard. Learn more by visiting Indeed.com/credit.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Clippers are back in action tonight against Dallas. It's game 2 of the best-of-7 first-round playoff series. 7 p.m. tip-off on TNT. The Clippers have a 1-0 lead. Kawhi Leonard is questionable again with a sore right knee. Kawhi has been limited to non-contact drills in practice over the past week. He has not played since March 31st. If Kawhi does not suit up, the Clippers will have to do a much better job defensively on Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. The Dallas duo combined for 64 points and 17 free throw attempts in Game 1. Some very troubling numbers for the Lakers after 2 losses to Denver. The Lakers bench has scored only 17 points in the 2 games, all by reserve forward Taurean Prince. Spencer Dinwiddie, Gabe Vincent, and Jackson Hayes are scoreless in both games. The Lakers will need a dramatic improvement from their bench for Game 3 Thursday night. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is the fastest growing talk radio station in Southern California. Home to 50,000 watts and an audience reach of 12 million listeners. KBLA Talk 1580 is a pioneer for Black audio content, including our groundbreaking $2 million climate justice campaign and the most loyal, influential audience. According to an independent research study by the polling firm Aviterus, for the 2nd consecutive year, KBLA Talk 1580 is the most trustworthy, reliable, and credible news source for Black audiences and beyond in Southern California. Let KBLA Talk 1580 power your advertising dollars. Our omni-channel custom marketing solutions are specifically tailored to connect with your ideal target audience. We leverage audio, podcasts, streaming, digital, social media, and local activations to get your message out to the Black community. Get in touch with our advertising team today at advertising@KBLA1580.com. That's advertising at KBLA1580.com. KBLA 1580. We've got you Black.
Tips to help improve your credit score in 2024. Establishing credit is an important key to achieving financial health, but building a credit history from scratch can feel challenging since you need credit to build credit. First, what does it mean to build credit? All consumers have a score between 300 and 850. You want your score to be as high as possible as lenders look at your credit score to make loan and credit decisions. A good credit score shows you have a track record of borrowing money responsibly. Remember, it's never too late to build or rebuild your credit. This segment is sponsored by J.P. Morgan Chase & Company.
If you say you care about the community, you have to also care about the climate. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got your Black. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminding you that we keep us safe. Pro Football Hall of Famer and urban peace pioneer Jim Brown believed in just that. So he founded the Amera I Can Foundation for Social Change in 1988, focusing on at-risk and high-risk youth in underserved schools and juvenile detention facilities, as well as adult incarceration and reentry initiatives. The core of the Amera I Can program is its 15-chapter life skills curriculum. Mastery of these skills allows individuals to meet their academic potential, conform their behavior to acceptable societal standards, and improve the quality of their lives by equipping them with what they need to confidently and successfully contribute to society. Today, the foundation is led by its president, Monique Brown, who has been actively involved in the organization for more than 25 years. The Amera I Can Foundation continues its work in memory of its founder, actor, philanthropist, and NFL legend Jim Brown. To get involved or make a donation, please visit visit AmeriICanCommunity.partners. That's AmeriICanCommunity.partners. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Keeping you informed about what's really going on. Who's got next? And what not to miss in entertainment. You're listening to The Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580.
Inside the Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580. That's a jam right there. That's a jam. That's a nice setup, Andy. Thank you so much for the vibes. If you're just joining us here on the Raw Report, welcome on in here. We are talking with Chris Gunther of the Chris Gunther Show. And he is joining us as we talk about Chingy and Sidney Starr, a transgender woman who lied on the man and said they were in a relationship. This was based off a photo, a fan photo that they took together, and she lied, took the photo to all the blogs and said, that was my man. And that was a complete lie, and it totally derailed his career. And here we are, years later, and 20 some odd years later, to Andy's point, and he's about to drop new music, so good for him. Andy, you want to jump in?
Yeah, I don't think this situation derailed his career. Only because I feel like his career was already falling off before this situation.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? He had that one hot album, Right There, and Holiday Inn with Snoop and Ludacris or whatnot.
Sure did.
Then he dropped that second album, where I played the Baller Baby song at the top of the hour or whatnot. But that album really didn't do too much. And then from that point on, you really just didn't hear too much from him. So I don't think this situation with Sidney Starr really it did affect his career, but I just feel like he was already going downhill prior to this.
I hear that point, but to his point, and I think other people that we've seen case studies on this already where artists will come out with a great album, not do so hot the second album,
Absolutely.
and then but you still know who they are. People still give them a chance because you're still rocking to some of the songs that they had out before, and then they come back with, maybe they start working with different producers, different writers, or whatever, and they come back out and they do well again in another album. So, I mean, in all fairness, I think that, and then to his point, he says, you're like, nah. To his point, he said he had a record deal lined up, and then that they said they didn't want anything to do with that negative publicity that he was getting.
I hear that.
Okay. Well, you sound like Sidney Starr, who said, I don't think it was because of me that she basically said that as well.
Low key.
Okay.
I kind of agree with that. And, it's dope that he's about to drop music, but who's checking for Chingy? Let's be real. No disrespect.
Put it like this.
Okay.
No disrespect to Chingy at all. And yes, I 1,000,000% agree with your points how, his career kind of was starting to go down a little bit. However, getting this incident with Sidney Starr, it sure did help speed up the process of him falling off.
Okay. It did. I don't know. I do think that people, fans of hip hop, I think people in general, let me just say that, people in general are fickle. And we decide at the drop of a dime whether we are into you, whether we don't like you. And Chingy, all he has to do is come back out with one hit or be a feature on somebody's hit, and then the fans are all back on him. That is exactly what happens, and so I completely believe he can come back out and be successful.
But now are people tapping into his music because of this, situation with Sidney Starr, the fact that he spoke up about it, the fact that we now know that, this was a false rumor, or were people going to tap into Chingy because of who he is?
Yeah, it's a good point. I think that people will tap into him because they're truly interested in his career if he comes out with a nice hit song.
He gonna need one.
Okay, he'll need one. Okay, that's fair. Yeah. So you guys are over here on YouTube. Penny Thompson says there should be jail time for intentionally lying and destroying someone's career. That's their livelihood. I could not agree more. Yeah, absolutely. She did nothing happened to her except a rise in her career to some extent. Some may argue, but I believe that, I agree with that there. DJ Black 909 says Chingy needs to sue Sidney into the next decade and press charges as well for harassment. Wow. Sue Sidney for defamation of character. Yeah, no. I agree. I think we're all in agreement here. Let's jump into this next conversation while we're at it. Right now, I have a poll for you guys over in our YouTube. Do you believe in couple goals? Simple question. A lot of people believe in couple goals, just in terms of you look at, and this is my definition, you look at someone, you may know them personally, or you may see them from afar. You may see them online, and it looks like everything is all good. You like how they communicate. You like how they look together. You like how they move as a family. Everything just looks good, and you might say to yourself, I want a relationship just like that. Not knowing necessarily what goes on behind closed doors. That to you could be couple goals. A lot of people live in that space. A lot of people they don't have a significant other. They live in that space. I personally do not believe in couple goals. I'll share my reason for you in just a moment. And Chris, I definitely want to get you in on this conversation as well. But DeVal and Kadeen Ellis, they are a beautiful couple, young couple, doing wonderfully for themselves. They are entrepreneurs. DeVal is a former NFL player turned actor. They're also now co-authors of a book together. The book that they put out is cool because it's giving other couples advice sort of from their perspective. The name of the book is called We Over Me, The Counterintuitive Approach to Getting Everything You Want from Your Relationship. I started listening to the book. I started listening to it in audio form. I started listening to it just to see what was up. I like them as a couple, but I stopped listening to it. I take everything with a grain of salt. And here's the thing about it. They have some skin in the game. They have, I believe, 4 children, 4 sons. They've been together for years. They're sort of college-ish sweethearts. Been together for some time and been through a lot of things. They have a podcast, all of these things. Well, recently, the couple sat down with Tamron Hall, and Tamron, she called them about that. She says, why don't you guys like to be referred to as career goals? And this is what DeVal had to say about that. Let's take a listen. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Well, what he said is basically what I say. He's like, you don't know what a couple has to go through. You don't know what a couple has to go through. So to look at us and say that we are your goals, you should have your own goals for your own relationship. Don't let us be that. Chris, you are a married man. I don't know how I don't know how you view your relationships in general before you were married. I don't know what you think about them now. So you're newly married in the sense of like less than 5 years. So newly married. What do you think in general about the term couple goals, and have you ever believed in it?
I've never believed in it because sorry about that.
Mm-hmm.
I've never believed in it from the standpoint of I don't want what somebody else already has. I don't know what goes on behind closed doors. I have a lot of married friends, and I'm grateful for them. And I hear them constantly say, yo, man, we are not goals because we just out here grinding every day like everybody else. And the reality is we live in a time where people will look at a couple and be like, that's goals. That's what we want. For example, look at Devon Franklin and Megan Good. Mm-hmm. They were couple goals. Everyone was loving it. He's a pastor, and, she's an actress, but she was kind of changing some of her ways because of her husband, and we saw what happened with that. We saw so many times people talking about Will and Jada were couple goals, and then we all know what happened next. So, heck, Jay-Z and Beyonce, everyone was saying they were couple goals until we saw the footage in the elevator, and then we started hearing the messages within the music. So you got to be careful whenever you're talking about yeah, I want to have a marriage like this couple, or I want to have a relationship like that couple. You have no idea the kind of stuff they deal with behind the scenes and if they're even really happy. Your relationship goals should be your relationship goals, nobody else's.
I hear that. I definitely hear that. And you've pointed out two very good examples. I do believe to a certain degree, Devon Franklin and Megan Good were considered for a lot of people couple goals. Maybe not to everybody, because Devon Franklin, who was a pastor, you have Megan Good, who was an actor, but she sort of changed a little bit. It seemed as though she changed a little bit in her relationship, sort of conforming to more of his lifestyle, in his way of life. And that's fine. They actually co-wrote a book together as well, called Wait, or the Wait, or something like that, basically holding out from sex until you're married. That's exactly what they did. People labeled them couple goals, but
Sure did.
yeah, they did end up after 9 years getting a divorce. But even outside of that, it's just funny. I feel like people sort of romanticize their relationships, and they want to be looked at as goals for people. And the problem that I have with that is, I always say this, I never really liked putting relationship stuff online anyway. A photo here, a photo there, like all of that's nice, but people actually put their relationship, people build brands off of their actual relationships. And I
Sure
always
do.
say, you know what, be careful with that, because when you seem like the GOAT and you seem like the expert in all things in your relationship, and people are looking to you, and people are drooling over the photos that you post, you got to be careful what comes along with that. And then don't let you fall short. You know what I'm saying? Don't let you fall
That
short.
part.
And then now all of a sudden, all of these people that you brought into your relationship as them deeming you as couple goals, now all of them are looking at you like, what happened? What did you do wrong? What was the problem? Similarly to what you said with Jada and Will.
That part.
Yeah, how do you? I mean, I don't know how much you post about your wife, or I know you talk about her and you reference her at times, but do you try to keep that more of a personal thing, especially thinking about the more you grow into your career, the more likely you are to become in the public eye, that type of thing. Where do you see yourself with your career, or excuse me, not your career, your relationship, in terms of like keeping it personal or just putting it out there?
Keeping it personal, just because I'm not naive enough to think everybody's happy. Now that I'm just being honest, I've been in the public eye for a little bit. I'm not like Robin Ayers, and I got my own talk show on KBLA, and I'm on the red carpets and, things of that nature, but I'm slowly getting there. And I understand this. Everybody is always looking for trouble and looking for some type of drama. And I just know for me, I'm not with that, and I would rather keep my relationship or my marriage private without keeping it a secret. Like, yes, everybody knows I'm happily married. Great. However, nobody needs to know our business. Public figure, private person. Keep the marriage public. Yeah, everybody knows that we're married, but our business, keep that secret and keep it between y'all. Everybody don't have to know what's going on. That's just not cool.
Well said. Celebrities are not good examples of couple goals, Marcus Atkins says.
At all.
Yeah, I mean, just watch that. Watch who you look at, especially if you don't know them in person and haven't been around them. I always say, if you haven't been through the mud and come out on top, you know what I'm saying? And you've swam your way through the mud and you come out on top and you're clean. If you haven't been through anything, you cannot talk to me about being a couple goal. Like, we're not having that conversation. So
that part.
Yeah, Penny Thompson says roses have thorns. What looks pretty may harm you. Oh, wow. Goals should be custom made for you and yours. Beautifully said. What a way to wrap up that conversation. Chris Gunther, thank you so much for joining me on the Raw Report today. Let everybody know where they can find you online.
You can find me online on all social media at Chris Gunther, and my website, thechrisgunthershow.com. Robin, thank you so much for having me. As always, keep rocking that hair for the summer too.
Absolutely.
I bet not see you change it because it looks dope. Peace and love, y'all. Peace and love.
Thank you, Chris. Take care. All right, when we come forward, we've got a Who's Got Next for you on the other side. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
What's going on? What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Denzel Whitaker, and I'm on the Raw Report.
You're inside the Raw Report with Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well-trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your Senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
It's time for California Community College's Black Student Success Week. This week-long event, held April 22nd through the 26th, is an opportunity to focus on innovative approaches to ensuring Black and African American students succeed in their educational pursuits. Black Student Success Week 2024, building a better future together. The urgency is now. For more information, visit blackstudentsuccess.com. That's blkstudentsuccess.com.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA reminds you that when we fight, we win, and we don't black down. LA Community Action Network, or LA CAN, was formed in 1999 when 25 residents of downtown LA came together and acknowledged the problems that existed in their community and made a commitment to do something about those problems, to stand together, organize, and become a force in the community that demands change. Civil rights and preventing the criminalization of poverty are their core projects. In addition, they take on women's rights, the human right to housing, and healthy food access. LA CAN also has projects focused on economic development, civic participation, voter engagement, and community media. While downtown LA remains their home base, with a particular emphasis on the Skid Row community, in 2007 they expanded their housing and healthy food access work into South Central Los Angeles. LA CAN believes that power for low-income people and people of color is achieved through a large, active, and well-informed member base that utilizes a multitude of methods to advance their messages and goals. If you'd like to join the Los Angeles Community Action Network and organize people to fight back against oppression, please visit cangress.org. That's cangress.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Giving you your daily dose of entertainment and celebrity news. You're inside the Raw Report with Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
I hear you guys. I hear you over here in our YouTube chat. All that glitters ain't gold, says DJ Black 909. I feel you on that. Let's go ahead and jump into this. Who's Got Next? Somebody sent this to me. You let me know what you think. This is Calabria Haskins. It's called Heartbroken. Check it out.
Chilling in the house alone. Tell me that you're really gone. It's the right, but it ended so wrong. Tell me how the hell I'm gonna move on. Give it all to have you in my arms. Ain't no way that the show goes on. Up crying till the crack of dawn. With you is where I belong. And baby, it's been way too long. Tears leave you soaking, floating in the ocean. I'm heartbroken, yeah. Will I swim or drown? I ain't joking. but overdosing. I've been coping, heartbroken, yeah. Thought you'd be around. Going insane with this pain. Love that I lost, I have nothing to gain. Having hard times, adjusting to change. Wishing that things were still the same between us. Without you, my nights have been sleepless. My reason for getting through the seasons, I need us. Been battling all of these demons. Tears leave you soaking, floating in the ocean. I'm heartbroken, yeah. Will I swim or drown? I ain't joking, but overdosing. I've been coping, heartbroken, yeah. Thought you'd be around. Was lost and you found me. Know nothing about me.
Okay.
It was love at first sight, but you had no boundaries.
It's got a nice little vibe to it. It's very slow-mo. Yeah, it'll put you to sleep. Andy, when you're at home on the weekend, let's just say weekend, you're hanging out, you're chilling, what's your playlist? Is it mid-tempo? Is it up-tempo, slow? Like, what is it?
So I don't know how everybody's platform works, but, I operate pretty much on Tidal. And, when you listen to the music or whatever you're listening to, they have a part where you could thumbs up, right? Mm-hmm. So I pretty much play my thumbs up list.
Oh.
And I just shuffle it. So it's just a combination. It's a combination of hip-hop, R&B, just all songs that I like.
Your playlist is probably fire.
I mean, it got well over 1,000+ songs. So, I mean,
wow.
I got a little bit of everything. So
yeah, it's fire though, huh?
Absolutely. You already know.
All right. Well, definitely. I like. It just depends on the mood that I am, that I'm in. My playlist is always nice though. Just trust and believe it's always nice. Okay, well, cool. Someone said, okay, Marcus Atkins says, it's okay. It's an okay tune for a one-time listen. All right, well, however you feel is however you feel. All of these songs are not my choice. A lot of these songs are sent to me. Penny Thompson says, it's got a vibe. All right. Very cool. Well, you guys, it has been a wonderful, wonderful show. Thank you to Chris Gunther. Make sure you check out this new film called Snatched. I don't know. Are y'all up on Tubi? I mean, has Tubi gotten a better name? Because I feel like we should support Tubi. Because how can you grow if you're not supported? So stop clowning it and just support it. Okay. So if you are one of those supporters of Tubi, go ahead and check out a film called Snatch. The cast looks really good. The film looks really good. So shout out to Tubi Original. All right, you guys, I really, really appreciated this engagement with you tonight in our YouTube chat. I definitely appreciated the conversation with Chris Gunther. As far as where I stand, yeah, I agree with DJ Black 909, who says before you get into couple goals, set solo goals, travel, learn new things, have new experiences. What a beautiful way to say it. Well, you cannot change the station. You can't do it. It's always KBLA 1580, but especially right now, because Zoe Williams is up next, the voice of reason, and he's got a fire show like he always brings. My name is Robin Ayers, and remember, today and every single day forward, be a blessing.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest.